What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we are a dog that mostly works with mostly works with aggressive dogs, uh, behavioral modification, things of that nature. Those are the things that we work with. But this is dog behavior Q&A, where you ask questions and we answer them to the best of our ability. Okay, keep in mind that this is also for people who have trained with me. If you have any questions, it's all about staying in tune with. What's up, Patrick? Cheers, man. It's all about staying in tune with the program, or um, you know, just keeping in touch with and talking to different people and or me, and just making sure you stay on the right track. So it's really important to keep learning about certain stuff. So anyway, let's answer some questions. Okay, let's get right into it. Actually, first I want to talk about, we've got two shadow students that are shadowing me for a week. One is from Connecticut, named Ashley. The other one's from Milwaukee, and his name is Ryan. Both shadow students are really good. They're both trainers, and one is running a rescue out in Milwaukee. But they're here to see if they can learn a few things from me, and see if they can gain something that'll benefit their situation when they go back home. So I did want to give you guys that, just to kind of keep you guys up to date on what's happening here. The other thing is, we're going to have, starting next week, we're going to have set dates to when we have our pack walks, so that people will know with plenty of time in advance when they're having them, so that we can have them. We'll have maybe like 3 a month, okay, and then we'll have set dates at the start of every month. I'll send out an email with the set dates on Saturdays, so that people that are coming from far away can plan accordingly, not just the week of. All right, so the start of the month, we'll choose 3 dates that we can, 3 Saturdays that we per month that we'll have pack walks, so you guys can plan accordingly, and so that we can get people from out of town to keep coming. All right. Cheers, Amy. Over all the years you've been training, what is your go-to training tool? My go-to training tool is the relationship that I can build with the dog. So that may sound funny to you, or to others, but there's no tool that can trump the relationship. There's no tool that can be more beneficial than the relationship you have with your dog. So that just means everything else is a supplement to the relationship. The relationship is first and foremost. It's the only thing you'll ever only have. Okay, so when you're talking about training tools, my training tool of choice would be my voice pressure. My voice. Come. Go lay down. That is a tool. Okay, that tool can be layered with other tools, leash, collar, prong, on all the different types of collars. But my voice is the only tool that will always be there. So you should always work to having your voice be the most reliable tool. And in order to get that, you will have to layer your voice with other tools. Does that make sense? So first and foremost, the best thing you can have with your dog is a respectful, authentic relationship. That's the most important to want to do what you want. So I hope that answers your question. Feel free to ask another one. All right. Let's get to some questions. How do you correct an extremely yard aggressive dog? Well, I'll give you two ways. The first way is going to be the long way. The long way would be to have the dog listen to you better in other areas. Because I can guarantee you, the dog will listen to you better under very stressful situations if the dog has to listen better to you very good to you in a non-stressful situation. So check if you're doing that, right? And then the short answer would be recall e-collar or an e-collar correction while the dog is in the backyard. More structure in the backyard without dogs being present or people being present in the backyard. How's the control in the backyard? Period. How's the dog acting? Is the dog free to do what it wants? Because then it's free to act. Means most of the time spending more time with the dog out in the backyard and sort of waiting until you can get a chance to where the dog goes into some sort of mode where it doesn't listen. It can be as simple as the dog wants to chase a squirrel. There's your opportunity to get your dog to listen despite something that gets the dog super aroused, which is when you want the dog to listen to you anyway, inevitably. So in summary, get more control in other ways, in other areas. Makes it easier for the dog to listen to you when it really matters. And then in the backyard, spend more time out there with the dog, really teaching the dog right from wrong in that environment. All right. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one. All right. Hello, my dog. This question is for Lindsay. Excuse me. My dog has been whining every time we take her somewhere in the car since she was a pup. She's now 3. Is there a way to train her out of this somehow? I've tried using positive reinforcement when she is quiet, and I try to ignore her when she's loud. Nothing has been working. Yeah. So, dogs in cars. Basically, my go-to is I like to stick to the basics. I think good things happen when you stick to the basics. My training isn't fancy, so what I would tell you is to make the dog do something in the car. Make the dog do something. Give the dog something to do. Give the dog a job to do in the car. If it's free to go into a stressful mindset, then there's no reaching the dog whatsoever, especially with treats. So you're going to have to learn how to get the dog to listen to you in a non-negotiable way. So what I would do is check out my YouTube channel. There's a video called How to Down, which means teaching your dog to lay down the non-negotiable way. And I would start getting your dog to perform a down in the car for a while. Yes, this does mean your dog can't look out the window and act like a happy dog or, whatever. But the dog needs, if it's stressed out in the car, the dog needs you to actually give him something to do so that one day the stress can go away. Why keep your dog in a stressful mindset? And some people will say, oh, he's happy. No, he's not. He's drooling. He just threw up. Some dogs are so stressed in the car they throw up or they poop. So you wanna try and give him a calm mindset in the car. Give your dog the gift of calmness. That may take consistency on your part and being more stubborn than the dog to get to that point. All right. Thank you for your question. Okay, let's see. Hmm? All right, next question. My foster has attacked in my foster was attacked in the shelter a year ago. Now he gets overly excited when he sees another dog. He doesn't growl, but it's definitely too aggressive. Uh, any chance he will ever be able to live with another dog? Should I try with a puppy with a muzzle on? And what are your thoughts on CBD oil for anxiety? We were just talking about that. I have no idea when it comes to CBD oil for anxiety. I don't even know where to get it. I will try it once I know where to get it or whatever. So I don't know anything about CBD oil, but I can tell you that just because your dog got attacked by another dog doesn't mean he hates all dogs. So absolutely, your dog can get along with another dog. It may take some time. I would get the opposite sex if you can. I would get the opposite temperament if you can, um, or at least a calm temperament. Let's just say that that'd be best. Um, but I wouldn't try with a puppy. That's not calm. That's a bunch of energy. So, uh, you know, I would try and see if I can get a calmer dog. But yes, your dog with enough time can really enjoy another dog, another companion. So I would encourage it. All right. Thank you for your question. Okay. You're welcome. Feel free to ask another question. What brush do you recommend for pitties? Uh, do we use that brush? What brush is that? What's the name of that brush? Zoom. What? The Zoom Broom. Groom. Sounds like a. That sounds like that company out of Milwaukee. The Zoom Broom. It's agility. Anyway, I'll show it to you. Hold on a second. It's rubber. Okay. Zoom Groom. Yeah. Zoom. Zoom. And a groom. YouTube. See. Facebook. Made by Kong. Zoom Groom. It really works well. We like it. Feels good to them too. That's it right there. All right. Next question. Hold on a second. There we go. Is it possible to reintroduce two Danes that one attacked the other? Happened outside 5 hours after surgery. Ended for mass removal on the one that was bit. Hmm. Needed sutures in the ear only. They are both female. They never had an issue before with them. Oh yeah, of course. If they never had an issue before, and something happened where surgery did something, this, that, and the other, they were just getting sassy with each other. maybe one was anal, or more irritable because of the surgery, and it got a little bit crabby, and the other one, decided to go after it out of being sassy. But I would really, um, I'd really empathize with the one that had surgery, and I would correct the one who decided to engage in fighting, because rules of my house is there's no fighting no matter what. Just like if you have children, there's no fighting in the house. Yes, 100%. You just need to have complete control of them. They need to know that fighting is not okay. However you see fit, and I think they can get along beautifully once they understand that sort of rule, that there's no fighting in the house. All right. Thank you for your question. Okay. I get my CDB oil from New Leaf Naturals in Denver. Many people swear by it for arthritis pain, anxiety, and to relieve cancer symptoms like nausea for people and dogs. Yep, I've heard that from both sides as well, people and dogs. So I am going to give it a shot, and I'm going to report back. So, what do you do when your dogs start fighting? My dogs don't fight, so I can't tell you what I do when they start fighting, but I'll tell you what to do when dogs start fighting. First and foremost, learn how to prevent fights. Okay, learn why they're fighting, and also have the ability to give them a consequence when they decide to fight, so that they don't engage in fighting. So that's just being proactive. But let's just say they've already started to fight. You gotta make sure between your dogs who is the aggressor and who's the one that's just kind of like defending themselves. That's a good realization to know, because if you grab the aggressor, sometimes the one that's defending themselves will just stop. So know which one usually is the the one who wants to start it, the one who has a bad attitude, and grab that one. Now, when you're grabbing your dogs while they're fighting, make sure you do not grab their anywhere near their head, their collar, or anything like that. Try and go for the back legs if you can. And then find a separate room or find a door that you can put in between them to help cool them down. But separate them as soon as possible, and as safe as possible. Be careful. If the dog does decide to redirect on you or come back at you, what you can do is pick the dog up by its back two paws. Just pick them up, because if they have all four paws on the ground, they have less control over what they can bite. And so, to avoid getting bit, if your dog is trying to redirect on you, just pick those paws up off the ground. All right. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one. Okay, I'm getting a lot of dog aggressive questions today. Must be something in the air. Okay, how do you properly introduce a dog to other dogs? I recently moved, and there's a lot of dogs in the neighborhood, and my dog is always eager to meet them, but I'm not sure how to go about it. I know you said never introduce on leash. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Never introduce on leash. When you're in a new neighborhood, it doesn't matter. Your dog may seem like it wants to go meet other dogs, but that may not be necessarily true. Your dog may want to try and go control those other dogs that may seem out of control to your dog, and by fighting. So there's plenty of dogs who look like they want to go greet your dog, or your dog may want to go greet other dogs, but they're actually out of fear wanting to go control that situation, because they see it as something that is not in control. provokes that insecure, controlling feeling. So I would take control of your dog on leash. Let's try this. You take control of your dog on leash, and then after the dog is very in control with you on leash, then maybe you can do something. But it shouldn't be just, oh, here's another dog, let's pull towards that dog and let's let them meet because they want to meet. That would not be good. Sometimes that can be a bad situation for you, your dog, the owner, etc. So hold off on that. Get control of your dog first before anything, before you introduce them to anything, anyone for that matter. All right? Thank you for your question. Okay. Got any more questions live? No, just a bunch of people. You guys feel free to ask as many questions as you like. Those of you on YouTube, ask questions. Feel free to bring up a topic that you'd like to talk about, whatever it may be. Okay. So I'll just kind of talk about what the title is. As firm as necessary, as gentle as possible. What I mean by that is that's sort of how you should treat your dog. Okay. Obviously, we don't want any negative effects when it comes to training your dog or having a relationship with your dog that will be detrimental to their mental health, their physical health whatsoever, right? So you do gotta find that fine line though, because I tell people all the time, if you are too gentle, your dog will still act out and will potentially bite, act aggressive. And then if you're too firm, if you're too tough on your dog will act out and could potentially become aggressive. So there's both sides of it. And sometimes I have a household that is split down the middle with how to handle certain situations. Some people want to really be firm, and some people don't want to be firm at all. And you got to find the balance in between the two. Yes, you do need to be firm, meaning consistent. Okay, consistent is being firm. Think about the person, or think about somebody you know, or a coach you know, or a teacher you know, who says, I never will allow this to happen. You would say that person is a tough person, right? Or you would say that person doesn't take any, whatever. And so it's the same way with dogs. If you are consistent with what you want from the dog, sometimes that can be considered as being firm. Okay, so that's what I mean by being firm. Being firm just means standing solid on your boundaries so that the dog can respect what you want and truly learn and can truly be happy with what you want. Okay? So you have to be able to do what it takes. And sometimes that may mean you will have to take what you want, take what you get out of the relationship, take the best thing, your favorite thing, out of the relationship for a while in order to get to the other side. Okay, because you can keep correcting your dog for the same things over and over and over again, especially for separation anxiety. Okay, let's just talk about that. You want me to fix your dog when it comes to separation anxiety? All right, I'm going to need you to do this. Stop over petting your dog. Because it is abuse if we are correcting the dog in the crate over and over and over and over again, simply because you can't not give the dog attention when it's outside the crate. Because you've built a dog who has become codependent of you. And so it's not fair to him that it's a problem you've created. And as a result of that, you want me to to fix the what would you call that? You want me to fix the outlying or the 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 problems at the surface, which would be him barking to get to you, him whining to get to you, him breaking out of the crate to get to you. But those aren't the problem. The symptom, like the core issue, is that you can't not overpraise your dog. For some whatever reason, you continue to pet over and over and over again, building that codependent dog. And then you want me to correct the dog for the behavior inside the crate. That's that's not that's not that's not right in my opinion. Especially if you're aware of how to build the dog's independence from you. There's no reason the dog should be screaming in the crate when you're just in the other room. There's no reason for it. The dog should be put in that crate and not heard. But for some people, that level of respect or relationship is very hard to get to. And it's a simple, very basic thing. Put your dog in the crate, and you shouldn't be able to hear your dog. Dog thinks the daggone world revolves around him. Teach the dog to be calm. Give the dog the gift of actually having a peace of mind away from you. How do you start off teaching the dog the place command? My dogs like to rush the door when people come, or if I am walking out of the door and they think they're going with. I've been working on it, but I think I'm doing something wrong. Okay, so let's just kind of go through a checklist for you. So obviously you want to keep the dog on leash. I would say you need to use a tool that would help convince the dogs that they have to stay in their place. Okay, so I would start with a prong collar if you don't have one. But I would also try and see if you can work with one dog at a time to help, expedite their learning. If you're working with two dogs at one time from the get-go, it's going to be a little bit tougher because they're going to feed off of each other. So when you have time, put one outside, put one in a crate, put one in another room. Work on the place command with one dog, one at a time. Okay, so that would probably be maybe your best bet. But make sure, again, you're working with the proper tools in order to help convince the dog that they have to do what you want the dog to do. Go ahead over to my YouTube channel. I have a how to place command video that shows you step by step how to get that place command to become more solid. All right. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one if hopefully I'm answering it somewhat. Okay, that might be where I'm going wrong as I'm doing both at the same time. I do use the prong. Yeah, then definitely work one-on-one, because I tell people all the time, if you're going to train with me and you want to send two dogs to me, there's no way I'm giving you a discount, because it's 3 times the work. Because I have to work with one dog individually, both dogs individually, and then I have to work with them together. And you all know, sometimes if you have 2 dogs, they will feed off of each other. So that dynamic is a whole separate issue. How do I teach a dog to sit without gently helping them to sit? Is that correct to do? Have read that you shouldn't help them to sit. Yeah, you help the dog to sit. How's the dog going to sit unless you help him? Dog doesn't inherently know what that means, so you got to help him. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways you can teach them that. But the most gentle way would be to make sure you lift a treat up high enough, depending on how tall your dog is, to keep the dog's nose at this height. Dog's butt automatically goes down if the head is at attention right here. So you can literally, physically put your dog's head like this at this angle, and your dog will put its butt on the ground. Guarantee it. You don't gotta say anything. I've done it with every single dog. Put this head at this angle right here. Not here. Not here. Not here. Well, here would probably work too. But at least right here. Right here. Try it. Go ahead. Right here. Then the dog will put its butt on the ground. So even if like I said, you put a treat right in front of his nose like this, hold it up like that, and it goes up, but eventually it will hit the ground. Okay? Then you pair it with a word. You're welcome. Exactly. That's why I was so confused reading that. You're welcome. I don't know what you're reading, man. I'm scared about what's out there. Jesus Christ. What? If you don't help, if you don't help them sit, then what do you do then? Wait until they sit? I mean, I guess you could do that. But that's also helping too. I'm scared about what's out there, man. I'm scared. Some of the things that people have said they have read is scary. All right, couple more questions, guys. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for the Q&A. It's very, very helpful. I'm wondering what's a safe way to keep the prong collar on. Excuse me. I'm wondering if it's safe to keep the prong collar on all the time. I've seen a few people say to only use it for walks, but my dog pulls whenever she's on leash right now. Oh no, I could. You can keep it on in the house with the leash dragging around, but it depends on how old the dog is. If it's over a year, I would say maybe in the house, but definitely take it off when you're, when you put the dog up to go to bed or something like that. But basically, when you want the dog to listen very well, it's a good tool to make them listen. So that would be my advice, sort of when you want them to listen. So more structure in the house would be good, but definitely on the walks would be good as well. All right. I got one more. I'll answer one more, guys. And remember, these Q&As are definitely for people who also don't know that their dog can actually do what they don't think it can do. I find too many times veterinarians, for behavior problems that they have no idea of, tell people to put their dog down. And so the more people that see these videos and can hear the answers to these questions, which is why it's important for you guys to ask me questions, because you also are helping people who may not know that there is help out there. Okay, so but what we really gotta get away from is vets telling people to put the dog down just because the dog is aggressive towards the vet. Okay, because that doesn't necessarily mean the dog should be put down, especially if the dog has had no training. Even if that dog has had training, that doesn't mean it, because we all know all training isn't created equal. So I really appreciate you guys watching and supporting. Again, the better we can get our message out there, the more dogs that we can ultimately help, and the more people we save from getting bit, the more children we save from getting bit, and the more dogs we save from getting bit. And it's the truth. So I want to answer one more question, but I really hope you guys, like this video, give me a thumbs up or whatever. And if you got anything positive from it, I would really appreciate it. All right, one more question, guys. Okay, this question doesn't have to do with the topic of strangers, but I have two male dogs. One is 5 and the other is 4. Recently, they have gotten into 2 aggressive fights over bones and such. Do you think that it's a time to get the puppy fixed, and that dominant issue will go away with that? Okay. So when you have 2 dogs that are fighting, let's just go ahead and say, let's start with, you got to teach your dogs that it's not okay to fight at all. Okay, by whatever measure, anything's better than fighting and finding a bloody mess or you getting bit, and there's, you could be sent to the hospital. The dogs be sent, vet bills, hospital bills. You want to deal with that. So by any means, teach the dogs that it's not okay to fight. Okay. The second thing would be that I would pick up bones for a while, and or allow them to enjoy bones in separate rooms until they get real comfortable with each other, and they know, especially if you've got one that is getting older. Yeah, the dog that's getting older is going to try and see, if it can become the dominant one. But fixing the puppy, I'm going to go ahead and say with 90% certainty that's not going to help the problem. It's just not. So, if the dog is getting bigger and the dog wants to become more dominant, and that's who the dog is, then that's what's inevitably going to happen anyway. But again, with my personal dogs, I want them to enjoy bones and stuff like that. I'll just go ahead and separate them because it's such an intimate thing for them anyway, to be sharing. It's not even really in their DNA to share food, genetically. So yes, dogs can do it that have good relationships. But I don't even go through that. I just allow my dogs to enjoy their bones separate. Once they're done, I pick them up. But they're not just laying around. Okay, I don't have all that stuff laying around. So that's that. All right, guys. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go live on Instagram. I got a couple of questions to answer on Instagram, but thank you guys for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't on YouTube. And I will see you guys next Thursday. Same time, same date. Thanks for watching. Peace.